no, who's going first is Michael.
Michael, okay.
And I think he wanted to start with that YouTube, that video. You sure, Michael? You don't want to? It won't be a problem.
It depends if Oscar.
This is a very nice group. They can deal.
Okay. The problem is Oscar would have to play it from his side if he could, just because every time I try screen sharing, we're getting an error code. So Oscar, would you be able to play a video from your side? You can just go to our website and play it real quick.
Let me, yeah, give me 1 second. By the way, everyone else, I'm going to put you all on mute, okay? So feel free to send any questions via chat. Obviously, with the exception of you, Grail, and Michael.
Oh, no.
So let me put you all on mute here. Michael, if you can unmute yourself.
Yep, I did.
Okay, perfect. Michael, can you send me via the chat the link to the video or the website? I'll just quickly pull it up. It'll be a lot faster.
Actually, if you want to just go off our business valuation appraisals, click off of the email I just sent you.
Okay, hang on.
And then what you could do is actually click on to the very bottom of that page, and there is a YouTube channel down at the bottom. There's like 4 or 5 videos that are posted up there, and the one we're going to play is what every business owner should know.
Give me 1 second here. I don't see the link here.
I just think that's such a great video, and it's such a great start to putting, and it puts everything in perspective.
So Oscar, were you able to go to the website?
Give me 1 second here.
Oh, no problem. So what I'll do is, while Oscar's doing that a little bit, is I'll give you a quick introductory. So my name is Michael Sanborn, and I'm with a company called Business Valuation, and I'm the CEO of the company. We've been doing valuations for about 11 years. My previous past was I was a turnaround CEO about 20 plus years, started in the States and then later did turnarounds in Australia, Indonesia, kind of around the world. In about I guess it's been 11 years. I say 9, it's been 11 years. Time flies, right? And so with that is we had a failure where, you know, I started wanting to start doing turnarounds on my own businesses, which I did at a very young age. And then later say, let's do it again. So I started looking for businesses to buy. And our biggest problem is no one really knew what the true value was. They'd come up with, you know, opinions or anything like that. So my past for 7 years previous in the turnaround thing, I wanted to make sure that I would know the value of the business, because when I started and got in as a turnaround CEO, I get equity piece. So I needed to know what the value was the day I walked in the business and the day I exited, because I would get a cash value out of that. So as I worked through things, I went and got certified as a certified business evaluator. So then what I did is grew, and now what we do is we have a location in LA, one in the Silicon Valley here, Chicago, Denver, and Texas. So what we do is we now have 22 people on staff, that from CPAs, from business valuators to marketing. So we're kind of a full one-stop business valuation company. That the difference is we comply with all the ASA standards. And all the ASA standards is making sure that if you have a certified business valuator, it'll actually show, and the number should always come in pretty close. And what we've seen with brokers like Grail and you know, Legacy, they've used this on the business valuations, and what we've seen is it's making the deals come through faster, just because they know what the true value is to list it. And what happens is when buyers come to the table, the first thing they want to know is, well, where'd you come up with the value? And, you know, Grail and the broker world is able to respond back and said, well, it's a certified business valuation. This is where the value is. And usually businesses that sell for the value, that buyer is going to do some type of valuation. When that buyer does the valuation, he's going to come up with pretty much the same number. And if that same number is, they're going to be kind of confused why you're trying to sell it for $1 million or $2 million higher. So anyway, Oscar, were we able to get to that?
Yes. Let me know where the video is. I have it right.
Okay, so just go to
right there.
No,
Your most important asset.
That isn't it. That isn't it. No. Okay, so go, Oscar, go back, go all the way down. Go all the way to the very bottom. You'll see a little click for a YouTube channel. Click on that. And what you'll do is that, as it goes, And then it says what every business owner should know. And it's that one. Far left, 3 minutes and 58 seconds.
This one?
Yep, that one.
Okay, let me just.
No, that says appraisals. Oh.
No, it's the right one. It's what every business, it says whatever business owner should know, right? Yeah, right there on the
Okay.
tag. Yep, go ahead.
Business owners put a lot of work into their business, growing it and expecting to sell or transition their business someday. They expect to retire on the money they receive from selling or transitioning the business. However, 90% of these business owners do not know the value of their most important asset, their business. A Forbes magazine article in 2017 said that most business owners won't be able to sell their businesses when they're ready to sell because they're not taking the critical steps towards getting the full value of their business. In fact, only 20 to 30% of businesses that go to market end up selling. Only 1 in 5 businesses sell. Wow, why is this? Many owners have little to no exit planning in place. Many are only estimating on their own what someone would pay for their business. Ever seen the TV show Shark Tank? Business owners on the TV show Shark Tank often estimate their business's value way above the estimates of the sharks. The business owners are way optimistic about the value of their business, while the sharks are independent and successful business people who can see what the business is truly worth. The takeaway is that business owners often need a shark to help them see their business clearly. So why do successful business owners get a shark? Why do they get a business valuation well before they try to sell their business? Here are some of their reasons for a business valuation. They want to know their numbers. They want to understand the value of their business, their largest asset. Strategy. Valuations set a baseline for their business to help develop a strategy to improve the profitability and increase the value of the business. Retirement. Their retirement depends on it. Exit strategy planning. They know that a valuation should be done far before the business goes up for sale on the open market because they will have an opportunity to take more time to increase the company's value to achieve a higher selling price. Identify weaknesses. They refocus the operational efforts to improve profitability. Show professionalism. They can show company valuation growth to potential buyers. Potential buyers like to see that a company has seen regular, consistent growth as it ages. Financing. Owners can obtain bank financing or alternative investment. They get access to investors. Grow. They identify whether the business is growing, stagnant, or declining in value. This helps to restructure the business to achieve their goals. Protection. Owners ensure their business and family are protected. They have adequate insurance. A business valuation is a powerful tool for a business owner to truly know their business and its potential. We are passionate about providing this incredible tool. What makes our company unique is that we can not only do an accurate valuation, determine what someone would actually pay for your company, but we can also help your business grow and achieve your goals. The most helpful sharks not only do a valuation, but they also jump in and help the business grow. You can't change your numbers in the past, but you can get a valuation and then have us help you to change or repackage your company to increase your value. Contact us for a free consultation. We would love to see how we can help you.
So what I'm going to do is just kind of stem off the video real quick, is that what happens with valuations, and they aren't getting valuations through a company that is ASA certified or CVA. What happens is they don't file standard guidelines, and as us, as our group of CPAs, we make sure that we follow all the guidelines. But the difference is that the SBA, when someone goes to sell a business and say they use a broker opinion, which is fine. But the thing is, it isn't as detailed as our valuation. And what happens is the valuation and the SBA and banks shows ours as a certified valuation. So they will use that valuation, and we are accredited through SBA to be able to do business valuations, which is, really, important, because if it goes to the bank, now the SBA doesn't have to go request for valuations or anything. And one of our biggest clients that really signs us up. We do a lot of valuations for Bank of America. We're just started doing one the other day for them, and it's really interesting where a lot of times they will have their underwriters use our valuations and our really comparative transactions that we get. And the last part of that is our valuations are driven on a lot of comparative transactions. Well, most companies that are, smaller valuation companies or smaller realtors, they don't have the cash flow to be able to purchase these reports that we look at, and we pull these trend reports. And so what we're going to do is show a real quick trend report, and I'm just going to kind of show you an actual business valuation that we do, and that's what this one is right here. So what I'm going to do is Oscar's going to be my scroller, so I'm going to kind of scroll pretty quick here, and so we're going to just jump through this, and this is going to take probably about 10 minutes. So so what you can do is just go to keep going right there. So what this is kind of the contents of our evaluation. So we look at trend reports, what's happening in the industry. We're so up to date, we can show, like we did a hotel industry, what's happening with the industry, what is happening when it's going to grow out of Corona. And these are all the economists really dictating what the future is going to look like. So go ahead and scroll up a little more. Keep going. And then keep going. And let's see. So then go ahead and stop right there. So what we do is, Oscar, could you make it just a little bigger? Just because I can see it pretty good. Okay. So what we do is we really look at every industry, and we look at what the key external driving forces are. And most business valuation companies don't ever do this, but we feel that if you're a business owner, you should really know what the external drivers are and all of those pieces. So we really are able to drill down and show the hotels of, what's driving, but yet it's any industry we do this. So every industry, it is a different valuation industry report, because it's changing usually every 30 to 45 days. So let's go ahead and scroll up some more. And go ahead and stop right there. So what we do is we really show the industry at the glance, and how do we get, everyone's heard of multiples, and everyone will say, oh, it's 3 times revenue, oh, it's 3 times cash flow. Well, every industry is different. It's just like a roofing company that is doing $1 million might only be worth $300,000. But yet now you have a financial planner that's doing $1 million, he could be worth 1.2 million. So if you're trying to use like the rule of thumbs, or what we call is the barbecue valuation, where everyone says, oh, what's my bid? Well, we should use 3 times revenue. Well, if you look at a company that's doing $1 million and you're going to go 3 times revenue, that's $3 million, but yet their expenses are $999,000 with $1 profit. How could that company be worth $3 million? So you really look at those rule of thumbs where they're just kind of crazy. So we get is real data from all the industry, and we know what kind of profit margins, what kind of profit they should be having. And that's what's really nice, is because once we do a valuation with a company, we will show their benchmarks. And so like right now, the industry shows for hotels, you should have a profit margin of 11.8%. Well, that was from 2015 to 2020. But we know COVID has been affected somewhat. So what we're going to do is that what's nice with the valuation is if you hit all your benchmarks in the industry, you're going to end up with that profit margin. So immediately when we do a valuation, we look at your wages, we look at your rent, we look at your depreciation, we look at all those. And so we immediately will know, why aren't you hitting profit? And we can drill down and show why. And that's why, a little bit different than a valuation, we actually give you all the tools also to be able to fix those as they move forward. So go ahead and scroll up a little more, Oscar. Just keep going. Okay, stop right there. So what we do is everyone talks about, well, this is a hotel industry. So we look at, where are they getting all their money from, and what's the driving pieces. And we look at, restaurants and bars, and then room rents. So you really look is the rooms and the restaurant bars are where their real big profit, margins are, and their segments that they work on. And then we also do what everyone's heard about is, just scroll up just a touch, is the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats in the industry, where everyone has heard about SWOT, but yet what we do is when we're doing evaluation, we drill down for that industry so that business owner really knows, hey, are my strengths what they should be? Or the weaknesses? Let's look at what we can do, opportunities and threats. So those are the things, as you continually grow a business, you can look at those different segments. So go ahead and scroll up some more. Keep going, just keep going. We're gonna drill. Okay, so stop right there. So this is really interesting. So this is COVID hit. As you can all see, look what it did to everything. It took revenues, it just dived. Domestic trips in the US dove, everything. So what's really wild is you see the green, how they've come out of it really fast. In midway through this year, domestic trips in the US. So think about this. I know Grail can talk about this, all of us, everyone's going to Yellowstone. So my son actually works in Yellowstone, and they're over capacity this year, but yet, so the trend report again was spot on, because where no one's doing travel or anything, but then it shows that and then back to 2022, everything, is borderline the same again. And so, so go ahead and go up some more. So that's kind of interesting factors when our trend reports, because it's kind of fun to see with these. So keep going. Keep going. Okay, stop. So what we do is we, again, where do we get our ratios and everything? We start pulling, what's happening in the industry, what's happening in, 2011, what happened in 2020. So this is our historical numbers that we use as, wages, and we look at wages, have they grown and everything. But it's really interesting that you see how, as we all know, from 2015 to 2020, wages went crazy. They just kept going up and up and up. And so so go ahead and scroll up some more. What's interesting on wages, and it might not be on this trend report, but we're seeing it as more, go ahead and keep scrolling a little bit, is that the wages now 20 to 25, the next 5 years, they really go up really slow. They don't have that, 5-year, go ahead, that 5-year increase. So we can keep going as soon as we get to that. So as what's interesting, I think what's as good for all of us as business owners, we aren't always fighting to find that right employee. So keep going. So we're able to now, not having to give a person a raise every, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it seemed like that we were doing. So go ahead and stop right there. So we're able to, really get back into the competitive, landscaping of businesses and looking at, now we can set a price for a hat that we're selling at $5. Well, what hat can you buy for? Let's go $20. And now tomorrow we have to increase the rate of that hat or price of the hat by $3 because we just had to get 5 other employees that we had to pay another $2 and $3 an hour just to be able to keep employees. So go ahead and keep scrolling a little bit. And okay, go back down. Okay, so perfect. Scroll down a little bit back to the, oh, we can go here. This is kind of neat. Okay, so we do is as we look as, and this is really interesting, this is historical, profit. Look at what the profit of businesses did. They all started plummeting. But look what happened. Wages as share of revenue. So what it was is companies were not adjusting for the wages versus what they were selling their product for. Because the wages were going up so fast, people were scared to adjust their product. So instead, the businesses were taking the impact instead of the employees. So this is historical. So let's go ahead and go up a little more. And then we go into purchases, we go into depreciation, rent. And this kind of go ahead and stop with rent is the same thing. Is you look at right there, as you look at rent started just going through the roof at the same thing because there's little shops opening up everywhere. There's hotels opening up everywhere. So now the rent started increasing. So these are all historical. Same with utilities. So go ahead and go up some more. Go ahead, keep going. So as we keep going, go ahead, and we're just going to scroll into financials and things. So you can keep scrolling until you get there, and I'll tell you to stop, and I'll keep talking. So everyone says I love to talk. So anyway, I'm just going to talk for about 6 more minutes, and then we're going to transfer it over to Grail. So we're going to keep going down into the financials. So what we do, and what Grail has been a witness of where is really she's seen the value of our company. And what is neat is that where she had one of the clients where really tough time, selling it, and where she did all of her diligence, doing all the marketing and everything. And what they did, it was a company that actually a lot of the financial profitability was buried way down into the financials, and the value was worth $100,000 versus now being worth $500,000, just because we were able to unbury all of the profitability that was hidden somewhere else. And so what happens a lot of times, business guys that want to go sell their business, they'll just send over the tax returns to the banks, and the banks go, oh, you aren't going to be able to qualify. So what we're able to do is rebuild those financials. So go ahead and keep scrolling, Oscar. We're going to go down to kind of the actual valuation methodology a little bit. And so we're going to keep going. Just keep going. You're going to see financials. And this is all of our trend reports. So our trend reports are anywhere from 40 to 50. And this trend report was done May of 2020. And so keep going. And what I'm going to do is keep going, keep going. So you're going to keep going until you see like financial statements. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You got a long ways to go down. Keep going.
This is it.
Oh, this is it. So so this is actually what we do. And the final part is we also have the another 40 pages of rebuilding your financials, comparing your tax returns to all the different pieces. So those are kind of the difference of having just someone that in the backyard trying to do your valuation versus a certified business valuation company. And one thing what we do is, we work with Grail very closely, where our team, once she finds that right buyer for that, she will bring us into the deal, and we explain all the financials, how we came up with all the numbers, because then Grail's able to do what she does really good, which is their networking, bringing customers to the table. But yet she knows finances, but yet she's been, from education on the law side, all those been very educated, but yet, our team is educated all on financials and numbers, so we can understand every different creative financial structure there is. So we've, worked very well on that piece. So what I'm going to do is just bounce over to for a question and answer session. And then the last, 15, 20 minutes, then Grail was going to talk a little bit about that. So I'll go ahead and open it up, any kind of question and answers.
You did excellent, I think.
I'm not boring, no questions, right?
No questions. Okay, we're moving on.
Yeah, bye. Okay, so anyway, what I'll do is, last thing is our company is Business Valuation Appraisals, and I am the CEO of the company, but most of our clients I always talk to first before I move them off to our team. And as Grail's worked with quite a few members on our team, everyone is a fun group of people to work with. Even going out to lunch and wine and everything. And Oscar, you need to go back to the vineyard so we can go wine tasting. Okay, I'm finished up. So Grail, go ahead.
Okay, Oscar, you have to bring up the next presentation.
Oops, sorry. Give me 1 second here.
This is so unique. This is so great to have Oscar do all this. I love it.
I know. Hey, Oscar, you did a great job.
You're doing a great job. You are a disc jockey, man. Okay, so this is the deal. So why I think you really do a phenomenal job, Michael. Your team is phenomenal. And as realtors, you know, lots of people, I've helped a lot of people in town sell their businesses. And it's pretty easy if it's under 100,000. But when you have a $30 million client or a $100 million client walk in and say, hey, Grail, it's time to sell my business. It's a completely different type of figuring out what that list price is. And some people still are doing it pretty randomly. And I have a master's in law. And also my broker.
No, I'm on a Zoom call presentation thing.
Oh, my broker also was trained to be an attorney. So whenever we do anything, we always have to do it with the idea it always could end up in court. Like, how can we say this is a $30 million business versus 100 million versus 100,000? And working with Michael, the one thing that's really huge, it's a certified business evaluation. And if I'm correct, Michael, that means it stands up in court for 2 years, right? Is that right? I believe it is. He can't hear me now, so he's not answering, but it stands up.
Let me jump in real quick. It's like I can't click it and then. So what it is whenever they are, say, divorce courts or anything like that, is that we do a lot of business valuations for divorces and or partner separations. And what the judges we have to comply with the judges and be part of the CVA. So we are actually certified to be able to do courts. We are recognized as expert witnesses, where you see on CSI where the expert witness forensic guy goes up, we have to do that, which is kind of interesting because it's a lot like the forensic court stuff. So anyway, absolutely, as I'm long-winded, so. Yeah.
But that's really important because there are many business evaluators out there that are not certified. And when we were working with this company that's a 30 million, we had a business evaluator in front of us, and he gave us 3 pages. Michael's reports are like 80 pages long. And the 3-page business evaluator was absolutely not certified. So it couldn't stand up in court. So, you know, the fear is whenever you sell one of these businesses, you know, the next buyer maybe won't do their job, and they can always come back to you and say, you overcharged me, this is not what the price is. So you need to have a business evaluation. And brokers and realtors over 450,000 cannot call the value. So we need somebody to step in and evaluate it. I cannot evaluate under my job title. I cannot go into their books and evaluate the price of a business. But I can have a CPA go in, and the CPA can't call the value anymore. I think the law changed in 2016. So you have to have someone that is a certified business evaluator come in, evaluate it, and work with CPAs. So that's really how we ended up over here with Michael. And this is the new standard for our company. If my broker was sitting here, it has to be a certified business evaluation, or we can't take the listing.
Grail, let me jump in there real quick. So what it is in 2014, 2016, what they did is they required CPAs now to be able to become a certified business evaluator. So they have to add that to their credential, and most CPAs don't want to waste their time and spend a year to a year and a half getting all the credentials to be able to become the evaluator. So we do a lot of work for CPAs. So they will do a high level one, but yet anything over, and Grail was spot on again, anything over $450,000, the SBA does require a business valuation on the business. So great, Grail, you're spot on.
Okay. So that's how come we got here. So we're going to go through this pretty quickly. So what happened, Michael and I sat down probably with I guess in the last month, we probably have seen over, I guess, 30 different business owners. And every time they come into my office, whether it's 100,000, 30 million, or 100 million, we started realizing there were certain steps. And Kim's team wrote these 12 steps out. And we actually have changed some of the numbers, how we felt, what these steps, what didn't matter whether you were 100,000, 50,000, 30 million. These were the steps that successful business owners, and even at the 30 million or the 100 million, you think they would know some of the steps. They didn't know some of the steps. But once they learned the steps, they learned how to either change their value. Like I remember with one of our clients, the guy's value, and it's like at a $30 million company. He says, oh, so these are the benchmarks. Okay, Grail, I will be back in 3 months. We're going to do this again. I'm changing these, my results. So the deal is it's pretty, once you learn them, these are the, okay. So we'll go through this fast, and I'm sure Michael and I will be doing some videos on this one. Okay, you can go to page 2. Up past that, you all know me. The first step we all thought, you had it as step 10, Kim, we moved it to step 1. You got to join your local chamber. That's where you're going to find some really great people. That's where you're going to get the vibe or the heartbeat of the business community in the chamber. That's it. That's step 1. That is not step 10. Move to the next step.
Thank you, Grail. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, that's the first step. I mean, really.
True.
Because then you come up with your brilliant idea, then you talk to your network, and you get the experts in the chamber. You research it. You can't research it really if you don't have a real network of the business around you. Okay, you can go to number 3.
And as she's moving to number 3, this is kind of covering, startup businesses, because there's a valuation of that, and that's what this is really kind of, pushed to those new startups of all the different things they should do, such as, join the chamber, because they're going to learn a lot, and then the other steps that Grail has. So go ahead, Grail.
And we're going to talk about, okay, number 3 is you got to do your market research. But that's when you can do market research, and you can even do market research with Michael, with trend reports, figuring out different things. Like I have one client that's looking in another area. Really, they need to get a trend report. We really need to understand what they want to do in that area. So keep moving forward, Oscar, because I don't want to take a long time. Okay, then we need, well, you talked about the benchmarks. That's understand the industry, understand the benchmarks, and get your first trend report. Even before you start your business, you want to have that trend report because that tells you so much. I have sat in rooms with Michael going over his business evaluation. People have owned a company for over 16, 20 years, and they'll look at Michael going, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about my industry. I didn't know so much. And they said, I wish I did this in the beginning. You should do it before the doors even open in your business. Okay, next one, Oscar. Then, of course, I'll let Michael talk about this at another time. The legal structure of my business. Are you going to be an independent contractor? Are you going to be an S Corp, an LLC, corporation? You got to figure that one out. And next. Of course, register the business name. Okay, number 7, moving. Open the business checking account and savings account and have it in the company's name, which is pretty simple. Next. Meet with your CPA, and really, you should meet with the CPA way before the doors ever open. You should figure out the system that you're going to be doing with your taxes, also with your setting up your books. You need to have that in play before you open the doors. Next. And then, of course, a patent or trademark, which was, we could talk about that forever. So let's just keep moving. Then number 10, you meet with a business attorney, and these are the different discussions that you might want to have with the business attorney. You can go to the next one. Connect with the city and state regarding the business license and the different permits that you need to have. That right may probably be probably could be at step 3. I mean, you really need to know what the city and state is expecting of you and on the county level. Okay, next. Okay, this, Michael, can you hear me? This is your first business evaluation, and we haven't even opened the doors yet, right? You got to, we do this with a lot of my client buyers now. What is the plan? Michael will meet with them and do, if they're buying a business, he will meet, first they'll evaluate what the business is and what is the plan that they're going to do. Do you want to talk about that as the buyer?
Yeah, real quick is what it is whenever you're doing a startup or anything, everyone says do a business plan, which is absolutely really the business valuation can be your business.
Okay.
Business plan, because it shows all the research, all the wages, what's happening in industry. So now it shows that you've really done your due diligence, you've done your homework, you know what you're talking about, you know what the industry is doing. So absolutely, you know, before you start a business, you can also do a startup business valuation. So then that way it also gives you, you know, what your next 5-year performers are. It gives you all your goals. So it really, as you move forward, it shows every piece. So go ahead, girl.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you see the buyers who do this at this stage, they come out the door super strong. They are on game. And it's a completely different type of business owner. Okay, the next slide. Okay, so this is probably out of order a little bit, but one of the things that in this conversation, if you're opening up a business, first the client has to get really clear, am I buying or am I leasing the physical location? And if you are, then you would meet with somebody like a Valerie, a commercial realtor who's on but that's who you need to connect with, or you can connect with me, but you absolutely need to come very clear with what is the goal and what are the terms. Okay, so next. Then the other one is the business location. Okay, next. That's really, and also business. One of the things I just realized that wasn't there is, I think they made a mistake on that last slide, but basically it's about, you have to meet with a realtor that sells businesses. Are you going to be buying a business, or are you going to be starting from ground zero? And ground zero, if you're going to have to give yourself 6 months to build up the clients, get it working, or are you going to come in and take an old business and save that 6 months, which I think, and work with that clientele and then rework it into your vision. Then you do the zoning, then you hire the right people. You can go next. What type and how are you going to structure it? Like it's so funny right now. We have a client. She structured it different. The buyer wants it structured differently. So the original client had contractors. The buyer wants it to be employees. You have to be very clear on how you want the people that work for you to be paid and what is their legal definition. Next. Additional services that you should be looking at, which is pretty, CFO services. Like, some people have the dream that they want to be in this industry. They don't have any idea of how to do it, or they're going to buy a company that their management team is all messed up, which I think Michael and I have seen so many times. So there are turnaround services, and that's another part of Michael's company, which is absolutely phenomenal. Where, you can get, I don't know how do you want to talk about that, Michael, how this turnaround services come in, and sometimes they just come on just to clean up everything and get it going right, and then you can put your own people in, but sometimes things are a mess, which we have been seeing in Silicon Valley. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that a lot of business owners, they're focusing on their business, which they should. And what we do is we see a lot of financials where they just need to be rebuilt. So we do a lot of rebuilding of financials, and that's part of our system. So that way, one, as they go to the bank or they do anything, everything's correct. But yet also we do, have a team where we do our business management services, and our business management is we manage a lot of the things they don't want to do, which is their bookkeeping, their answering their phones, doing all those pieces. And we can go into those, kind of as a, at a later, segment that we can follow up on those pieces. But the number one piece that if you're going to start a business, you should really talk to your business realtor like a Grail, and also someone like us to be able to do the valuation to know that it's a really good idea or not. Because I've seen so many startups where they think it's a really good idea, and then when you figure out the market share is so small, it isn't worth the time and effort going into it. So it's really important if you're moving forward, and that's what this part that Grail did, is focusing on being a new business. So
and also, if you're buying a business, sometimes you're buying a business and it has many legs to it. And in order to get control of things, you need to put a CFO service in place, because you need somebody at the end of the day to say, this is what you made. And if you have lots of different people using the money or having the cash flow, you have to get cash control. Really important. Okay, next slide. Oh, insurance, that is its own discussion, which we will have at a later date. So go to the next. Schedule a grand opening. I think we're, yep, this is again from Kim, and I think it's really important. I think what happens with a lot of new business owners, by the time they get to the grand opening, they're really tired. They've done a lot of work. They've been working alone, and they kind of just want to open the doors. And I think it's a moment that you really need to celebrate. And some people really skip this, and it really needs to be done. A grand opening is really important. It sets the tone, and it sets the beginning of day one. Next. You open your business. Next. Okay, here we go. So what did we find out? Okay, year one, you need to do a business evaluation. And do you want to say anything about that, Michael, the year one business evaluation, or no?
Well, yeah, just real quick, is that when you do evaluation, and what you're doing is you're going to know what your numbers are today, and then what it is, you're going to look at your value, because the first couple of years, you're going to increase value very rapidly, but yet you want to get it normalized somewhat. So those are ones, are you hitting your goals? Are you making mistakes? So you're actually able to see what percentage, how your labor is going. So it's really important just as 1 and 2. In most business valuations, what we do is we push every company, no matter if they're selling or whatever, they should be getting a business valuation every 2 years, so they know where they're at. Because if someone comes up and says, oh, I want to buy your business, and you have no idea, now it's going to take you a lot of time to be able to get everything put together to sell it. So go ahead, Grail.
I think that yeah, is excellent. And we have met many guys that have 30 million, $100 million. They never did these business evaluations. If they did it, they might have been selling at 60 million or 200 million. They would have known the benchmarks, and it's a game changer when you do, and when you really understand the industry you're playing at and how your value is determined. Which is one of the things you did not talk about, Michael, is that just because you bring in revenue of 300,000, like the roofer brings in 300,000 and the accountant brings in 300,000, that doesn't mean when you sell them, they're going to be at the same price point. They could be radically different, right, Michael?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then we go selling your business. Call your business brokerage. Again, the seller should be doing a business evaluation here. They need to understand how the buyers can look at it. And the great thing about Michael's reports is it's done they do 5 different levels of evaluation. We never have to turn the seller's business evaluation over to the buyer. Now they do a buyer report, which is maybe 6 pages, 4 pages, and it's really great. But the seller really needs to understand what they're selling and how it's going to be looked at in many different financial models. It's absolutely phenomenal. Of course, they should have been looking at it all the way through, but before you put it up on the market, you really need to understand this. And you really need to understand the comps. And if you ask somebody today, what are your comps? Lots of people don't know what their comps are. They can't get the information. When you work with a business evaluator, when you work with someone like Michael, you absolutely know the comps. I absolutely know the comps of a $30 million business or a $100 million business, and they're verified. So it's amazing. Then, you know, next, you can go to the next slide. These are the, oh yeah, this is the, well, these are the questions for the now. If you need a business evaluation now, or if you need an industry trend report, feel free to reach out to Michael or me. If you need to, if you feel like, and I feel like in Silicon Valley, we have so many people right now that would like to sit down and talk to a business management consulting team, because I get it. You know, your business could be booming. You could be feeling chaotic at some level, and you need to, you know, get control, because when growth and when you are really hitting out of the park, you just keep doing the things you know what you're doing. But to really grow to the next level, there are different ways you can change and even blow it way out of park with income, if you keep in contact and keep up to date with the new trends. Okay, and these are the rest of the questions. So I guess that's it. And then I also, of course, want to say one of the things that I have seen, sometimes we all start these businesses, we have friends that we put in positions, or you become friends, and sometimes you need to take some time off, or the person that you put in that position, you need to take time off. You all need to regroup, and I do believe big time in turnaround services. And it's not a negative, it can be seen as a positive, but you need to restructure, and you need to have somebody from the outside if your goal is to sell and to get the highest dollar amount. And so if anybody has any questions, please give me a call. If you want to sell or buy a business, I got it.
Okay, and then I'm gonna do kind of my exit thing too, real quick.
Yeah.
You know, Grail, thank you, and I appreciate, you know, the chamber inviting, you know, us to the present. And the last part is that if everyone takes a pen down, please, you know, write down my cell number, is because everyone has access to my number. Any kind of weird questions, feel free to text or ask, just because that 30 years of being a turnaround CEO all around the world type thing, you learn so much weird little details about things. So my cell number is 707-400-4003. And then also you can always visit our website. There's a lot of good videos at Business Valuation Appraisals. And like I said, thank you so much, and don't hesitate to reach out. And like Grail says, if there's any questions, you know, we're finished up.
It was the fastest I ever went through.
Oscar.
Thank you, Grail. Thank you, Michael.
Mhm.
I think we're good.
Okay, I think we're good. I think I think we did really good.
All right. Well,
We're
thank
ready
you.
to rock and roll.
Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
everyone. Have a great day.
Much, Grail. Thank you, Michael.